you, Terry Lucas, author of Color Thread Free Motion Quilting Learn to Stitch with Reckless Abandon. Today, I am here with the fabulous, my very own personal, and my very favorite Alex Rodriguez.
Hello.
As a Yankees fan, I had another Alex Rodriguez, but this is my absolute favorite, Alex Rodriguez, because he's adorable. And you, I have to tell you, he is with one of my top favorite companies, and I'm not just blowing smoke up his booty. Um, I love Windham because they have one of my very favorite designers, Marsha Dursey, and she has a line coming out that as soon as I get it, I'm going to share it with you because it is just beautiful. And then Tara Fonan has an amazing line coming out that as soon as I get it, I'm going to share it with you because it's just beautiful. But today, we're not going to talk quilting directly. Alex, who's been with Wyndham for what, 10 years now?
More than that now. You know what? It's hard. Time is going by so quickly. I'm gonna say 15 plus years.
Oh, wow. So you've been with Wyndham for 15 years and wow. Yeah, the timing's about right. So you're with Wyndham uh, uh for a little while before I met you in person at Nancy's house. Or did we meet before
Yes.
that? Yeah.
No, I'm sure we did meet before that. Don't forget, because before that, I was at Benartex.
Yeah. Better Tex is my other favorite, one of my other favorite companies. And then I have a couple of other favorite companies. I can't,
And
I'm
I'm gonna date myself now. I'm gonna date myself now. So
okay.
when I first started in this industry 30 some odd years ago, I first started with Concord Fabrics, which is now Andover. And back then, there was not all these companies like there are now selling all these beautiful fabrics and designs. Back then, it was Concord Springs and VIP mostly. Moda was just known as a notions company. Um, you know, Hoffman ruled with boutiques. This was like the early mid 90s when I first started out in the industry. It was
Wow.
a wonderful, for me anyway, it was a wonderful time to be in the industry
And
and to
you're
be
only
part of all these
25, so
companies.
I'm not quite sure how all of this works.
Well, that's great. It's the lighting in this room, but no, I'm actually celebrating a milestone birthday this year. I'm turning 60 this year.
All right. So we talked a couple of weeks before market, just, because you had posted something on LinkedIn, and I went, oh, this is actually a good fit for him. I'm gonna ask him. So, what are you doing and what got you into it?
So, about 5 years ago, when COVID first started, I probably had like my eighth midlife crisis. Um, just hit me, and I wanted something to do different. I've been looking for my next act in life, not my last act, but my next act. And probably, during COVID, it was hard to like even to try to pivot and switch careers because everything was so wonky in the world. Um, and not that I didn't enjoy my time with Wyndham Fabrics, I enjoyed it immensely. But you know what? You still have that. There's a part in you, I mean, at least for me, that says, you know what, Alex, do something else. In light of the fact that my 60th birthday is coming up, a milestone birthday.
Right.
And by sheer luck, about a year and a half ago, a very good friend of mine said to me, having a similar conversation, like, what do you want to do? She said to me, you know what? You'd make an amazing life coach. And I'm like, a life coach? And I'm like, I've heard about it, but what is it? And then when I started doing more and more investigating about what a life coach does, all these dots just started connecting in my brain. And I was like, oh my gosh, the fact that I can help people, which I love doing, and making a positive difference in people's lives, I was like, oh my gosh, this is something that I've been doing all my life.
Okay.
And if you don't know what a life coach is, so like let's say in therapy, right? Therapy, you're working from the present backwards.
Okay.
And most of the time you're dealing with like trauma, addiction, depression, things like that, things in your past that you want to make peace with. Coaching is the opposite. Coaching is working from the present going forward. And basically, what I, as a coach, do is I help people get unstuck going from point A to point B and helping that person or the client um, get rid of the clutter or the obstacles that's getting him or her from getting to that to point B. It could be anything. It could have to do with finance. It could be career. It could be health. It could be money. It could be
Hmm.
family. It could be friends, relationships, anything and everything. At the end of the day, Terry, I have this heartfelt belief, and I believe it from the top to the bottom of my body, that every human being is naturally creative, resourceful, and whole. And whether it's
Okay.
me, whether it's you, whether it's anybody watching this video, whether it's a stranger in the street, we all have the answers to what we need to do, but people just need help getting unstuck to figure out what those answers are.
All right. So where did, okay, so you did all this investigation.
Mhm.
How did you distill? So, what program did you enter for your formation, for your training? And then, how did you distill down to that one?
Interesting. So obviously, because of technology, you can go online and say, life coach training, and everything and anything came up. Anything
I
and
am sure it
everything came
did.
up.
That's
So yeah, it took a lot of research to hone it down to a few companies here and there, and I talked to a few people, but luckily, because of my husband, Adam, he is well connected with somebody that owns a career coach company in here in Montclair, New Jersey, and it turns out that her cousin is the CEO of a well-known life coaching company out of California called the Coactive Training Institute, CTI. And when push came to shove and I did all my research and everything, and you know what? I just went with my gut and I said, you know what? Word of mouth. This is what I'm going to go with. And so far, the experience has been amazing, amazing, amazing. It just reinforces what I want to do,
okay.
which is honestly just to make a positive difference and affect people and help evoke transformation in people.
Right. Um, well, well, we actually work in it. I mean, we both work in an industry where word of mouth is huge, right? And making those connections. So that actually makes perfect delightful sense, actually. Um, and so what was the first year? I know you're in your second year of training. What was the first
Correct.
year like? What were the things that you were doing in that first year?
So the first year was basically 5 courses that I took, right? The first course is called Fundamentals, which gives you like an overview of what the next 4 courses are going to be.
Okay.
The second course is called Fulfillment, and fulfillment is being in touch with your best self. Like what is your life vision? What is your life purpose? Who are all your inner allies? And who are your saboteurs as well? And learning to recognize them in yourself and learning to recognize them and bring that out in other people. You
Okay.
also learn in that first course active listening. And that's where you're tuned into the person. It can either be level one, level two, or level three. And level three is like instinctual, like where you're, reading, you're learning, you use your instincts to read people's body language and everything.
Mm, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
That is really fascinating.
The next course is called Balance, which is amazing. Balance is all about conscious choice.
Okay. Tell us
And
more.
look, so conscious choice and looking at things from different perspectives.
Okay.
Conscious choice is just knowing that in everyday life, you as a human being have conscious choice. You have that awareness in you. You have choices that you can make, and you need to be aware of them and own them. And then there's, you know what? And then you look at things from different perspectives. And all that, what it does is it just gets your mind open and it evokes transformation in you.
So it's essentially becoming an integrated person and trusting I want to say trusting yourself, but also like um being attentive to what you actually want to do and then going to pursue it.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. The next course is called Process, and
Hmm.
process is actually dealing with with whatever emotion you have and transforming that emotion into another sort of energy.
Mm.
It's a
Okay.
lot of realization. It's a lot of realization, you know? And then the last course is called Synergy. And Synergy is taking all those tools that you've learned in the prior courses and just using it as a toolkit when you're helping people out, when you're helping clients out.
Hmm. And so have you taken anybody on as a client yet?
I have. Oh my gosh, yeah. And that's something I was always nervous about because so my last certification starts this coming Tuesday and it's a 6-month course and I'm excited about it. But part of the certification, and they do it on purpose, is that you need to have 100 hours of paid coaching during that time.
Okay.
And I was, one of these saboteurs that I always had was, oh my gosh, I'm not going to get 100. How am I going to get 100? Who's going to want me and all this other stuff. But luckily, I relied on my husband and my close friends for advice and everything. And I'm not shy to ask for help at all. And my husband, who is a tech genius, set up a wonderful website for me,
Mm-hmm.
inneralchemylifecoach.com. And then somebody else suggested to me that a good way to get clients is during the 6-month course, let the client name the price. Go out, spread the word, network yourselves,
Mm-hmm.
email everybody, which I did. I created a beautiful template, emailed everybody. I went on LinkedIn, which is how you found out, I think, Facebook, Instagram, everybody knew. But one thing that I'm stressing is during these 6 months of certification, I will let the client name the price. It could be $1, $2, $3, $20, $50. Um, it's important for me to monetize it so I can get used to monetizing sessions. But what I'm going to do with whatever I'm given as payment, I'm going to donate it.
Right.
And I plan on donating anything that clients pay me during those 6 months to the Boys and Girls Club of America, which is a cause that it's very near and dear to my heart. And they're also big allies of the LGBTQs.
Right.
So I'm just very happy about that.
Um, I'm gonna ask something that's really challenging, or at least
Sure.
I think it is. Um, I we've known each other for a while, and to me, Alex, you have always been rather confident in who you are. So I'm curious about the disconnect about charging. I mean, from one standpoint, I get it, right?
Right.
I get it. Um, it, Being in the quilting industry, charging to do something that I love is a little bit challenging sometimes, although not so much anymore. But I'm curious about what the challenge was for you and and how you are uh, how you are overcoming that. I mean, I know you're talking to various people, but what
Right.
was the holdback for you?
To be quite honest, I didn't have a holdback on it. I'm looking at this as another business for me, as a
Okay.
business. I'm looking at this as a business. Here, let me go back a little bit. Let me go backwards a little bit. When I told you I was having my eighth midlife crisis,
I love that so
I
much.
was looking for a way to find out, figure out what my next act was. And honestly, I always had this fantasy, and if you could look under me, you could tell that I'm a big nerd geek. you know, I had one fantasy that I would go work for DC Comics. And I would go in
Oh,
there and I would clean their bathrooms if I needed to, just to get my foot in the door. But unfortunately, all those jobs moved to California when Warner Brothers bought DC Comics, you know?
okay.
And you know what? I'm turning 60. I'm at an age where, you know what? I know in my heart, I've always wanted to do something different. But I also know that I don't want to reinvent myself from the bottom up. I just don't have the energy anymore at my age for me. I've done startup businesses. I've done a lot of things already. And when the idea and the opportunity for coaching happened, to me, this was like a way of reinventing myself and using the talents and gifts that I already have without starting all over from the very beginning and everything. Does that make any sense to you?
Yep. And this also, from what I can see, taps into your natural creative side.
It does. Part of what has given me the strength and the passion to do this is because I believe that I bring a lot of experience life experience, and
Hmm.
wisdom to the table that I can take and repackage it and put it into a setting between myself and the client to ask powerful questions that in turn will hopefully help the client evoke transformation.
Well, so you and I in different ways are in question asking, me partly as an interview, and then I do something else on the side as well. What has been the most surprising answer to a question that you've asked somebody that you've been working with in life coach? And I'm not asking for names or, to break any kind of confidentiality.
Right.
There's always a way to tell a story without revealing anything. So,
Correct. It's funny. I would have to say 9 times out of 10, what the client thinks is the topic turns out to be something else totally different,
okay. Explain a
unrelated.
little bit more.
Unrelated. So, usually what I do when I start out with clients is we start out with this thing called the Wheel of Life. And the Wheel of Life is like a pizza pie, right? And there's wedges in it. And one wedge will be health, one wedge will be career, one wedge will be money, relationships, finance, just things like that. It's a starting point to try to have a conversation, unless the client has a specific topic that he or she wants to talk about. So what I tell the client is, hey, rate each wedge 1 to 10 before we meet, and don't overthink it. One being nirvana, like this is the best it could ever get in life, or 10, the opposite.
Hmm.
People rate it and everything like that. And I will say to the client, hey, what do you want to talk about today? Pick something. So usually it's something on the lower end, you know what I'm saying? It's not the nirvana thing. And inevitably, most of the time when we're talking about, like, let's say, oh, I want to talk to you about my career because I feel stuck in career and stuff like that. It's not really about career. It's something. It has to do with something else in that pizza pie.
Okay.
That's what's always not surprising, but surprising to me. I enjoy like finding that surprise in it. I'm like, oh, you know,
Um, it- and 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 are people able are have the people that you've been working with been able to then take what they've learned with you and make the pivot to whatever it is that's going to be?
it's a process. It's a process. When
Okay.
I start out with clients, I'm very honest with them. I say to them, you know what? It usually takes about 2 to 3 sessions
Mm-hmm.
to see if it's even a fit. You know what I'm saying? Because you may not like, we just may not, be able, there's no chemistry there. But it usually takes about 2 to 3 sessions just to get trust going, and the confidentiality and all that stuff where people feel more and more open to talk. Um, I've spoken to many clients so far that, they already feel a difference. I always ask clients, hey, what do you want to talk about? And what do you want to get out of this when it's all said and done?
Mm-hmm.
And I always ask the client at the end, hey, did you get something out of this? And I'm happy to say so far, yes. But that being said, most of the transformation happens in between sessions.
Right. Right.
95% of anything that you're going to feel, because you know what? You've had time to absorb, because you know what? You're drained as the client, basically, after sitting there, Zooming like this for an hour and talking and everything. And we start talking about, like, what you think your life purpose is. And like I said before, what drives you? What are
Mm-hmm.
your passions? What do you see if you had to see if you had to imagine, yourself right now going in a time machine and talking to your same self 20 years ago, and you had 1 minute, what would you say to that person, to yourself?
All
It's
right,
those
I'm going
kind
to
of
ask
probing
you
questions.
that, Alex. If you could go back into a time machine 20 years ago, and you had 60 seconds, what would you want to say to your younger self?
To keep believing in yourself, that you are a resilient, resilient human being. And don't forget how compassionate you are, and don't forget how much you touch people's lives in a positive way.
How do you think that your 20, yourself at 40 would have received that?
If I were to go back and say to the 40-year-old, I would probably say the same thing. Everything, you know what else I
No,
would
I'm
say? No,
asking how your 40-year-old self
oh,
would receive that. That's a completely different question. And honestly, I'm not sure that I think it's answerable, but we might need like a 2.5 hour session, just the two of us.
Probably, but it's interesting because now my mind is like thinking what, how, what the, what would one say and everything. I'll tell you this much, Terry. You know what I've been finding out, especially through the coaching, because you know what, when you're taking these coaching courses and everything, it's a lot of introspection.
Hmm.
That's the one thing that surprised me, and I was happy for it because I'm an emotional person. I
No,
wear
I
my heart
didn't
on my
know that about
sleeve.
you.
So um, everything is a journey. Everything,
Mhm.
it's all a journey. It's all a journey. It's all a journey. And what I love about coaching is that I'm able to offer this like collaborative space where you're having a forward moving conversation and there's no right or wrong. There's a lot of curiosity. There's no right or wrong. And it's my job as the coach to hold space for the client. And I am their safety net. I don't
Hmm.
walk behind the client. I don't walk in front of the client. I walk beside the client. And I'm not there to tell the client what to do. No coach will ever tell the client what to do because, again, like I said before, the client has the answers, but people just need help a lot of times getting unstuck, or
Hmm.
uncluttered. It's natural. We all need that. Um, the other thing that I'm finding surprise, you asked me that original question about, what have I found surprising and stuff like that. Um, how we're all the same, basically. We're all the same. We just have, we have different journeys in life, but deep down, we're all the same. We're all the same. We all have the same emotions. We all have the same feelings. We share similar fears.
Hmm.
We're all human, you know? And when somebody gets to talk about that and share how they feel and everything like that, you know what? People are like, oh, I have a similar journey and stuff like that. And I've had a lot of similar journeys in my life. And, I've been very, very blessed. And again, what I want to do is take whatever life experience I have and collected wisdom that I've gained already and take that and repurpose that into an environment where I
Hmm.
could hopefully evoke a positive change in somebody.
In that first year of classes, what was something that you learned about yourself that was surprising?
One of the first things that I learned about myself, ultimately how resilient I am, how
Hmm.
resilient I am, how resilient I am.
Why was that so surprising?
Uh, because like anybody else, you forget what makes you the best person that you can be. And we all need to be reminded of that every now and then.
Hmm. Do you keep reminders around your house of how
Absolutely.
resilient? Okay, so what do those reminders kind of look like for you?
So one thing that I do is I keep a digital vision board. I use an
Okay.
app called Canva. And it was somebody in my family that suggested, even when I started to dabble into life coaching, she said to me, you know what? I love a vision board. I love a vision board. And she took out a big piece of cardboard and, she clips magazines and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, that sounds great, but you know what? I prefer something that I could have with me all the time.
Right.
So created this beautiful vision board that will change from time to time. And I'm going to put it down really quickly and I can just tell you because my
Here.
vision board is behind me. On my vision board, I have a picture of Superman
Okay.
and I say to myself, hey, this is who I am. I am a strong, powerful, confident person, you know, that being one of my role models in life. And why? Because you know what? If he were real, I'd like to believe that he wants to help people.
Hmm.
And that's what I want to do. I also, remind myself of my inner allies, my strengths that I carry forth with me every day that help me every day. My resilience, my empathy, my discipline, my compassion, my responsibility.
Hmm.
I also remind myself to eat healthier. I also have like a picture of everybody that is near and dear to me. And that's in the middle of the vision board, right? And on the top, the bottom, the left and the right, and in the middle is a picture of my husband, Adam,
Aw, that is
who
so
is my
darling.
partner. And then in there, I have my family and all the friends. I mean, I don't have a lot of friends, but everybody that makes a difference to me. And you know what? And every day when I look at all these parts of the vision board, Terry, I pledge to carry out to the best of my ability each and everything.
Uh, um, so you've been in the quilting industry for quite a while. Did you ever see Carrie Bloomston's book? Because she talks
Oh yeah,
about,
I loved her book. Are you kidding me? I have it on my bookshelf.
oh, good.
Can I just like can we just like, cut to Carrie Bloomston for 1 second?
Absolutely.
The minute I met her, it was like this. We
Oh,
just got each other. We just got each other. We just got each other. It was like we had known each other for hundreds of years, for lifetimes. I
wow.
can't even begin to tell you.
Uh, so do you in your format so far in
Mhm.
your work with people so far, like are you using any particular books? Are you going to use Carrie's book? Um,
I don't have any plans to right now. Right now, a lot of it is yes. I'm basing it on my current curriculums that I'm going through with CTI,
right.
but a lot of CTI is just using your natural gifts,
Right. Okay.
starting with your natural gifts. That's really what it comes down to. I've always been fortunate, I will tell you, and I hope this does not come out like I'm bragging or anything like that, but I've always had the natural ability to make most people in a room trust me and feel comfortable around me. And that to me is a gift that I don't take for granted. So whether it's been in business or in personal, it's been something that's been advantageous to me for whatever reason. And when I bring it into coaching and everything like that, the fact that, you know what, I can get, most people just to open up and talk. And it's all, again, coaching is a conversation, basically. Coaching is a conversation where I get to, like, we start talking. Of course, I'm going to ask powerful questions. I'm going to want to know things about you and everything like that. And then when all that finishes up, that person on the other hand has an awareness. The person on the other end has an awareness.
Hmm.
Does it make any sense to you?
Oh no, not at all.
Ah!
No, I get I I get it. Like I've seen a lot of people who do coaching, none quite this close, right? But I also see that empathy, I see that ability to build trust with people, to quickly build trust with people, as part of your natural talents. Now, you mentioned earlier about our inner, those characteristics in us that are for our good. How do you how do you work with people's inner saboteurs to actually help guide them? Like
Well,
to either to overcome or to help guide them to, because there's thought there, but like,
you know,
they can help.
yeah, listen, the first thing is awareness. To
Right.
even admit that they're there to begin with. And then you start deep diving, like, why are they there? Why are they really there? You know? And it's very, very introspective. Um, listen, as far as I'm concerned, fear, self-doubt, lack of confidence, those things will always be around.
Right.
Those things never disappear. But first of all, you need to have an awareness that they exist
Hmm.
and why they exist. And once you do that, then you could take those inner allies that you have in there, the beautiful things that make up Terry Lucas right now. And those things help overcome that fear, that lack of confidence, that
Hmm.
self-doubt. And you take that energy, that bad energy, and you transform it into something else. And you
Hmm.
shift. It's all about shifting perspectives.
Has there been for yourself personally as you're going through the training, like as an aside, I went through training in a different area of life, and I know that it has actually shifted how I view myself in a great regard. Like there was a lot of introspection in that allowed me, I want to say to move forward, but to just kind of hold space differently. So
Mhm.
what was the most transform? What has been so far? You're coming into your second year, but what so far has been the most transformative thing for you?
Recognizing and believing that I can help people.
Yeah.
Recognizing and really believing, not just, me jotting it down on a post-it note that I can help people or having this vision board that I have in front of me.
Right,
The vision board is great for a lot of things, but if you don't believe it,
right,
then it's for nothing.
right. Um, so you mentioned earlier your website,
Mhm.
which is again,
It is www.inneralchemylifecoach.com. I know it's a lot, but it was,
it
it's a great
worked.
name. It
I,
worked.
I will put a link in the show notes. I will put a link in the show notes. Um, is there anything else that you would like to share about yourself, about coaching? Um, how long are sessions? That kind of
Um,
thing.
sure. Coaching, I usually recommend an hour session because in a
Okay.
half an hour you can't get a lot in and everything. Um, Anything longer than an hour, I mean, I've never done an hour and a half or 2 hours. I think you're so exhausted. I think an hour is the sweet spot in my opinion. Um, I usually will tell client, I'll be honest with clients. I say to them, you know what, try a couple of sessions out. Because in the first session, it's really a discovery session. And that's where we where we design an alliance. That's coaching lingo for like, putting boundaries and parameters in place. We talk about confidentiality. We talk about things we should talk about, not talk about, logistics. Can I ask, is it okay to push you? If it's not okay, when will it not be okay to push you? Is there anything I can do for you? That kind
Mm,
of thing. And then we also talk about, I told you about that wheel of life, that pizza pie that I pre-email people and stuff. And we start taking that apart. So that's like the discovery session. And, usually by the second session, third session, that's when you start to see if there's a rapport going on back and forth and everything.
mhm,
Um, what else do I want to tell people? I think coaching is amazing. I think for the client, coaching is amazing. Like I said, if anything, it's this beautiful, collaborative, forward-moving space full of curiosity. And
mm,
again, I think most of us, just like anybody else, whether you're going backwards in therapy or going forward in coaching, people just want to be heard.
mm,
And a lot of times people have that feeling. That's why they come to me, or they come to another coach and I'm like, I'm stuck, but I don't know why I'm stuck. You have that feeling inside of you that, you know what, you want to do something else with your life. I'm using
mhm,
very generic terms right now. You want to do something else with your life. You want to move forward, but I don't know what it is, you know? And that's where a coach will hopefully help that person get uncluttered and
mhm,
unstuck.
mm. Is there anything else that you want to share?
Oh my gosh, off the top of my head, no. If anybody's interested, you could email me at alex@inneralchemylifecoach.com. I do start my certification next week, and what I am doing is I am taking clients where the client can name their price, just so I get used to monetizing it. And again, I'm going to take that money and I'm going to donate it to the Boys and Girls Club of America, or if not, I will donate it to a charity of his or her choice.
There you go. Um, and I completely, well, and just a related question. Have
Sure.
you ever made a quilt?
Have I ever made a quilt? Successfully, unsuccessfully? Um, maybe. Maybe, 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 perhaps, maybe.
You're hilarious. Maybe.
I'm honest. Maybe. I've
Maybe.
tried. I know I've tried. I know I've tried. I know I've
Uh,
tried.
well, but see, that's actually the thing. If you've tried, you've made a quilt. Now, is it complete? Probably like most quilters, no. No.
And if by a quilt you mean a block, yes.
Or you know what? Then yes, that's exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, you work for Windham, so yeah, it was sort of a natural question.
Oh, by the way, I still am working for Windham.
Yes, 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 you are still working for Wyndham.
Because a lot of people in our industry have asked me naturally, like, oh, did you leave Wyndham? No, I have not left Wyndham. I have not left Wyndham.
Do you know why I thought you left Wyndham?
Why?
Because on your LinkedIn profile, and maybe you had corrected this or you said you were going to correct it. You have an end date with them.
Yeah, that was kind of like a gray area and everything because yeah, because I was full time with Wyndham up until 5 years ago, and then
Right.
Mickey Kruger, the president, and I lessened my responsibilities with the company. So I'm still with the company. I'm just not helping Mickey run the day-to-day operations of the company anymore. And
Right.
what I do now is I handle a lot of the key accounts domestically, the U.S. distributors and the export distributors,
Right.
which
So
is something that I did before in addition to.
right. So your work with the company is really super focused on
Correct. Absolutely.
right. And I mean, you wouldn't be there if you weren't still loving the work. So
I love the work. Oh my gosh, I love the work and I love the people. You kidding me? It's like family there.
yeah, I've kind of gotten that.
Oh, 100%, 100%. That's one of, can I tell you, that's been one of the best things about Wyndham Fabrics. Um, just we just all know each other. You know what? Good times, bad times, like everybody else has them. It's a family, and we just all, we're all there for each other,
Right.
which is the way it should be.
It actually it is because that kind of culture allows for it allows for grace and movement. Mhm.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, there's not one person there that I could not rely on
Right,
whenever I've needed them.
right. And industry, I was so happy to see that Nika is still there and that she's still like very actively involved doing all that stuff. I don't even know her title anymore, but I like
She's a director of operations, and oh my gosh, she is like a lot of other people in that company. She is invaluable to the company.
oh yeah, she knows her stuff. She really does know her stuff.
100%.
And she's like I walked by the Wyndham booth a couple of times at market and I'm like, "Oh, like you can just see how engaged she is." And I could actually like I walked by and saw you a couple more times. Like you're just so when you're with customers, you're just so engaged with them so that they're the
Thank
only
you.
person in the room.
Thank you. I enjoy the relationships that I have with these customers. You know what? I'm fortunate enough because of my time in the industry. I've known these people for years and years and years. So when I have these appointments with people, it's just this natural flow back and forth, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah. Um, let's see. Is there anything else? What's your favorite dessert?
Uh, oh, without a doubt, two favorite desserts. Can I say two?
Absolutely.
New York style cheesecake and flan.
Ah, yes. Nuyorican. Mm-hmm.
Cuban flan. I mean, there's, I'm partly Cuban. So, Cuban flan. I mean, I'll take any flan. But yeah, flan and cheesecake,
I
without a doubt.
when you get grandma's flan at you know, you can there's a difference between grandma's recipe at a restaurant and then like a house recipe at a
Yeah.
restaurant. Like you could tell. Like you can just tell.
My grandmother was so old school. She used to put the flan. I mean, they still sell them. You know those metal tin round cookie containers that you could buy, used to buy, and my grandmother would turn half of them and turn them into like sewing to put her sewing materials in there.
I thought it
But
was
at the same
even
time,
her.
but at the same time, when she had an extra can when she wasn't using it for sewing supplies, she would put the flan in there to keep it cool.
That makes perfect sense. Because it's made for dessert, so why
Yeah, I mean,
not?
yeah, so
I love that so much. I'm sure more than one person was surprised to open it up and go, "Oh, there's actually food in here. I thought this was sewing supplies."
yeah. It was easier when you had to take the spatula to loosen it up and then flip it around on the plate.
Hmm. Uh, um, let's see. And what is your favorite adult beverage
Um, oh,
this
that
week?
that question could go two ways, alcoholic or non-alcoholic.
Yes.
Yes, what?
Yes, either answer one or both.
Oh, okay. My favorite. Okay. Oh, wow. I have a lot of favorites. Jeez. My favorite alcohol. I started out that way. Let me start safe. My favorite non-alcoholic drink is water.
Okay.
I keep this little baby here, which keeps the water cool. Oh my God, I live and die by that. I love
Crazy.
Grey Goose vodka martini, slightly dirty with olives. And if I'm not drinking that, I am drinking either in the winter mostly a Malbec. During the summer, I love just a nice Chardonnay.
Hmm. Yeah. I love Malbec. Hmm.
And now that the leaves are turning here and it's in the 50s, it's sweater weather and I got the pants on and stuff like that. So definitely, it's definitely turning. Oh, okay, let's put the white wine away. Let's put it in the basement. Let's bring the Malbec up now.
Have you gone apple picking yet?
Have we this year? No, we just haven't had time. We have not had time. We went on a beautiful vacation, a 3 week vacation. We went to where did we go? We went to the UK, Istanbul, and Greece. We did the Greek islands. We got back. Adam is knee deep in work, and I've been just going between, life coaching and fabric and, juggling those two things. So no, we haven't had time. And plus the weather, you know what I'm saying? The weather's been a little bit wonky, everything like
Oh,
that.
well, no, I wouldn't know. Remember, I live in Central Texas now, where
Yeah.
where it is actually almost sweater weather because we've hit the 70s in the morning.
Ah, I see.
Our sweater weather and your sweater weather are slightly different.
Just a tad, just a tad.
Yeah. I, I think I kind of acclimated to that by the third year that we lived here, and now it's like, oh, you can feel the weather getting colder. It's going to be 70 next week.
Well, it's funny. I think I might have talked to you about this. So, you know what? We have a house in Florida as well, Fort
Mhm.
Lauderdale, Hollywood, and we're lucky enough that we could snowflake. I call it snowflaking, during the winter months. And yeah, when I like to go running outside when I can, and when it's like, I don't know, 65, 70 degrees, let's say, I'm in a tank top and a pair of shorts, and I see other people with literally scarves and gloves on already when it's like in the 60s, and I was like, whoa, they must think I'm crazy. Or they must say, oh, you're from the Northeast.
It's more that recognition that you're
Yeah.
from the Northeast. Because the first couple of winters that we were here, I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. I don't need my big coat anymore. And then I'm like, yeah, I kind of do.
It's funny,
Because your body changes.
my family who lived in New York for many, many years and then went down to Florida, they say that they're just, their blood just thins out naturally. That's what happens when you move south. Your blood just thins out.
Well, and part of that actually happens because our summers are so hot.
Correct.
This was the first summer since I moved here where I think maybe over the course of the summer we only had 10 days that were over 100. So it was a cool summer.
Wow. I love that for you.
Everything
I love that. I love that for you.
same, same. What are your personal hobbies? Like, do you draw? Do you color? Do you paint? Do you
I read a lot. I love reading. I love reading comic books. I am a big nerd at heart. I might have mentioned that at the beginning, and I'll
that you're a
mention it
nerd?
again.
No.
Yeah, I did mention that. I am not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed of it. Um, love to travel. Love to travel, and I'm fortunate. And again, I'm fortunate and grateful that I can do that.
Right.
Um, I love spending time with family and friends. They mean the world to me.
Hmm.
They mean the world to me. I can't tell you. I wouldn't be half of who I am without my family and friends. Um, painting, no, that's never been something that's called out to me. I
Hmm.
love working out. I love keeping my body healthy as I can.
Hmm.
Um, and that's really about it. Do I sound boring? I hope not.
That is a matter of personal
Yeah,
perspective.
you're right. You're
Doesn't
right. You're right.
really
You're right. I'm like,
matter.
oh, you're right. I'm really, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, oh my God. I'm gonna say I don't paint. I was like, oh
Oh
no.
no, no. I was just throwing that out there. So I I love fabric and thread. Not only is
Right.
it, not only is it what I do, but it's what I do. It's kind of
Right. It's you. It's your
right.
passion.
Right. It's my passion. And so I get to do both. And I have the distinct pleasure of teaching. So,
Right.
I love that. But I'm also like you, I like to read. I probably have somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 or 30 books that I'm actively like, sipping at here and there. What are you reading?
I am reading a wonderful book called Strengths to Strengths, and it's by an author named Arthur Brooks. And it was a video that I was watching, or Adam, my husband, recommended this video, and it had to do, and basically it talks about Arthur, this person, Arthur, right, who is looking to do something in the latter part of his life. And what happens? And something interesting that I'm loving about this book, and it makes total sense to me, is that, you know what? When we're in our 20s and 30s, Terry, that's when our brains are on fire. There is no stopping us. We're go, 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 go. And you know what? And as you get older, you start to naturally slow down and everything like that. But there's so many pluses to that. And depending on what you do, what career you do. So when you're in your 20s and 30s, this author calls it your fluid intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
But then as we get older, that intelligence changes and it's called a more crystallized intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is like all these decisions that we make in life as we get older, they bring a lot of experience and wisdom into those decisions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So one of the things that I love, I don't get to do it so much, but I like to sit around the fire with people, right?
Yeah.
Because, good conversation. The initial fire, so your 20 something fire is kind of bright and hot. It's bright, everybody can kind of feel it. But when you're older, your fire, it seems as though it's kind of dull and low, but that's actually hotter than the earlier fire. So like there is just something I like that.
Calm. There's a calmness
Yeah,
to
there's a
it.
calm to it.
It's steady, it's calmer and everything. Yeah.
And it's vibrant and alive. Like it's
Yeah.
really vibrant and alive. So yeah, I like that. I like that. Do you read fiction at all?
Um,
Other than the graphic novels.
Not really. Not really. I just don't have the time. I don't have the time. I just don't have the time. I'm a big pop culture aficionado. Love pop culture. Love, love. I don't know why I didn't mention that before. Love, love, love pop culture. Love pop culture. I have a deep respect for history.
Hmm.
Deep respect for history. I appreciate history. I appreciate the lessons that it teaches you.
Hmm.
But pop culture, oh my God. There's this amazing show that just started on the CW network. It just started last week, and it's called The Television We Love. And I think it's like a 6 or 7 episode docuseries. And the first episode that it aired on Monday, is all devoted to I Love Lucy.
No
Yeah,
kidding.
it's called the TV We Love. Like the next episode, I think is devoted to the Brady Bunch.
Oh wow.
And it goes, the next episode is devoted to like Dynasty. The next episode is devoted to like Cheers, things like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like our whole life in
Yeah,
TV right
exactly,
in front of
exactly,
us.
exactly, exactly. What else do I like? Oh my gosh. We love watching Great British Bake Off.
Unfortunately, I don't have access to that right now because
It's on Netflix.
yeah, I don't have Netflix right now.
Oh, and oh my God, you know what else I love too? My God, you could there's this wonderful series. It's in its second iteration. It was a show that came out, I think, in the late 70s, early 80s, but then they just redid it again. And since it's 6 season British show, it's called All Creatures Great and Small.
Oh, no kidding.
It's about I forget his name, Harriet. I forget his first name,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he's a vet growing up in the in the Cotswolds. Every I just you just cry at the end of every episode. It's just heartwarming and everything.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That sounds like I I've watched that one. Oh, there's a lot of things that I watch. Anyway, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, thank you for giving me time on your platform. And you know what? And we sort of talked about this off camera. what a pleasure it's been to reconnect with you. Three times now. Three times now. When you contacted me, when you found out what I was doing, at Quilt Market in person, and now a third time.
I know. I was so happy. I'm
I
so
was so
happy
happy
that
too. I
you're
was
going to
like,
be
yay!
there.
Yay!
I get my very own personal A-Rod. I get to hug him.
Although, going back to the A-Rod thing really quickly, when you were talking about Alex Rodriguez, a baseball player, I remember there was a time when this was when, Alex Rodriguez was in the Yankees and stuff like that, and I'd make a restaurant reservation anywhere. They would think it was the other Alex Rodriguez and stuff like that. And then when I'd walk in, they'd be like, "Oh, womp womp," you know. But if I had a nickel for every time somebody asked me, "Is
If you
this
were
the
that
Yankee player?"
A-Rod.
and I'm like, "No, but can I still make a reservation, please?"
Yeah, my favorite reservation experience all of all time with you. We
Yeah.
happened to be, we were at Quilt Market. You made a reservation for a restaurant that has a restaurant of the same name in the UK. Do you remember?
Yes. Yeah.
And you're like, I'm so embarrassed. I don't want to call them. I'm like, dial the number. I'll talk to them. They don't
Yeah.
know. So I'm like, oh, I'm in Houston, and they're like, oh, we get that all the time. No, not a
I
problem.
remember that. Oh my gosh.
That's that is actually one of my favorite market stories
I can't believe you remember that still. Holy cow.
because it's one of my favorite stories.
All right. All right. All right.
But don't get like I don't tell that story often, only because it's like very few people would actually understand. But like I actually treasure that because it's like I get to be Alex Rodriguez for a minute.
You just made me chuckle because I totally forgot about that. Oh my gosh. This has
Yeah,
been delightful. Oh my gosh.
thanks. Thank you for joining me, and I
My
will.
absolute pleasure.
All right. Everybody else, thank you for joining me. If you are interested in having Alex as a life coach or learning more about it, the link to his website will be in the link to his website and an email address will be in the show notes, as well as links to Wyndham and my favorite designer because like Marsha Dursey is the queen.
He rocks.
I'm like, right? And
Ugh.
and so Alex, that new line by Tara Fanon. It looks like Dupioni silk. It is just beautiful. Anyway,
Handloom. Handloom is amazing. Oh my gosh.
great. I'm glad you remembered because it's sitting right over there for me to do some piecing with it. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to use it. I will. So thank you again for joining me and thank everybody else for joining me too. And if you're interested in life coaching or even just learning a little bit more about it, visit Alex's website, book an appointment. All right. Thanks, Alex.
Pleasure.